So here we go. Worksheet 11A. So what we are going to do here is we're going to solve our inequalities, and then we're going to graph on a number line. Okay? If you look right now, my number lines are completely blank. Okay? So for those of you who don't have the printed version out, that's okay, because your number lines, you're just going to make the way we're going to do them. So our goal for these solving inequalities is to get our variable alone. We need to remember important rules. We need to remember our negative rules. And we also need to remember that, and I'm going to write this right now at the top of your paper, okay? So you guys should do that too, is remember when we multiply or divide, so you should be writing this down, when we multiply or divide by a negative, what happens? What happens, folks?
Positive.
Not necessarily. I'm writing it. Can you see the screen? The inequality symbol.
It flips.
Yes, it flips. It switches. Okay? So please make sure we remember that when we multiply or divide by a negative, our inequality switches. If we add, subtract, don't worry about it. But multiplying or dividing, we have to. Okay? So let's look at number 1. We're trying to get x alone. How should I get x alone? It says x plus 8. So what do I do to undo that?
Subtract.
Subtract 8. Yeah. So make sure we're keeping this nice and neat. Subtract 8 on the left, subtract 8 on the right. The left-hand side, those 8s cancel, so I'm left with x. I keep my inequality symbol the same because I did not multiply or divide. And then 18 minus 8 is 10. There is my answer, okay? That the variable is alone. But now we're going to graph that. So here's why the graphs are blank. You don't need them always to be like the ones we had last week where it was like from negative 10 to positive 10. What we need to make sure to have is the number that we have here, which is 10. So I'm going to put 10 right in the middle. And then we need to have a couple to the left and a couple to the right. So this next line that I just made, what should I label that as? 11, exactly. And then we can do 12. And then let's go to the left. So to the left of 10 would be 9 and 8. Okay, so having 5 numbers is plenty. Making sure that the number that we care about, that we solved for, is certainly included. Okay, now that we have the number line, we need to actually graph this. So what type of circle should be on 10? Open or closed? Closed, good. It's greater than or equal to, so I have a closed circle on 10. And if I'm greater than, what numbers are greater than? 8 and 9 or 11 and 12? 11 and 12, so we want to go towards the right. Okay, so 2 parts to these questions. You doing the algebraic solving piece and then you graphing them. Let's do a couple more of these together, okay? So number 2, I need to get x alone. What do I need to do to get x alone?
Subtract.
What is attached to the x?
Negative.
Negative, it says negative 7 plus x, right? So I need to get that negative 7 out of here. Add 7. Good, Eva. We need to add 7. It's a negative 7, so we add it. We'll leave the negative 8 where it was because it's on already the other side. So now those 7s cancel. I'm left with x, and then we need to remember how to add and subtract positives and negatives. So negative 8 plus 7 is negative 1. My inequality symbol did not switch. I did not multiply or divide by a negative. Okay, so now when we make this number line, we're going to make sure we have negative 1 there. What are the 2 numbers that go to the right? What comes?
0.
Good. I heard 2 people just say them. 0 and 1. Very good. And then to the left would be -2 and -3. So again, we'll have a closed circle and it's greater than. So again, we will go towards the right. Any questions so far? Okay, I'm just going to pause for a couple seconds just to make sure everyone has these copied, okay? Okay. Just want to scroll for one moment. All right, let's scroll to the back side now. So everybody get to the back side and let's look at number 7 and go from there. So everybody flip to the back. We have plenty of time to come back later, but I want to go over different examples. So for number 7, it currently says -5 times x is greater than or equal to 25. So how do I undo multiplication? We use division. So we're going to divide by -5 on both sides. That left-hand side will cancel to just be x. However, what did I have you write at the top of your paper earlier? When we multiply or divide by a negative, the symbol switches. So now instead of that greater than or equal to, it's a less than or equal to. And then continue solving. 25 divided by -5. Make sure to watch your signs. Positive divided by a negative is a negative. So there's my solution. Okay, super important that you remember to flip that symbol because if you don't, then your graph will be wrong. Okay, so we'll have -5. To the right is really -4 and -3, right? And then to the left is -6 and -7. Another closed circle. And now it says less than or equal to. So remember, even though the numbers 7 and 6 look bigger, they're negative. So they're even more negative. So they're actually smaller. So we're going to the left. Any questions there? Okay. Let's go do 9 and 10 together. Oops. Okay. 9 and 10. So let's do 9 first. So make sure you're on the right problem. What am I going to do on number 9 to get b alone?
Multiply.
Multiply. Just multiply. Yeah. So we're going to multiply by -6. Don't forget that negative attached to it because it said divide. Those cancel. I'm just left with b, but I multiplied by a negative, so that greater than symbol is now a less than. And -3 times -6 is positive 18. Negative times negative is a positive. Okay, so now let's graph. So this is like, here's a big number, right? This is why I'm not making you always start from 0 and so forth. So we have 18, 19, 20, and then on the other side, 17 and 16. What type of circle do we have here?
Open.
Open, good, okay? I'm less than 18, so open on 18. And if I'm less than, we're going to the left. How we doing? Any questions so far? Okay, let's go to number 10, like I said. What is the first thing I'm going to do on number 10?
Multiply.
Multiply. Multiply by what?
Let's do 3.
3, yeah. Okay, it says divide by 3, so we're going to multiply by 3. The 3's cancel, but don't forget we still have negative n left. My symbol is staying the same because I'm multiplying by 3. 3 is positive, okay? So I'm multiplying by a positive, so don't flip the symbol. It's only if you multiply by a negative. On the left now, negative 9 times 3 is negative 27. We are now at a spot like we had last week, right? Do we like a negative variable? No. How do I make it so it becomes positive?
Divide.
Divide through by negative 1. Now, I did grade your tests, which I'll give you those to you guys later. Couple mistakes I saw is some people trying to get rid of that negative by subtracting. We're getting rid of the negative variable by dividing by negative 1. So since we're dividing by the negative, our symbol switches now. And then negative 27 divided by negative 1 is positive 27. We don't subtract it. So now my number line will have 27, 28, and 29, and then 26 and 25. Open circle, and I'm greater than, so we're going to the right. Does anybody have any questions so far? Okay, so here's what I would like you to do. I'm going to give you guys some time to work on the problems that we didn't do. So that is numbers 3 and 4, 5 and 6, 8, 11, and 12. You're going to go work on those, and then we're going to come back together to check them and put them up on the screen together. Are there any questions with that?
Wait, which ones are we working on again?
Any of them that we didn't do. So the rest of it. So 3 and 4, 5, 6, 8, 11, 12. So you're finishing the worksheet. Okay, and then after that, so before lunch, we'll check in a little bit to see how you're doing. If people need more time, then we'll make sure to put them all up after lunch instead. But if anybody is stuck on any of these problems as you're working on them, don't hesitate just to speak up, and I'll pull it up on the screen and we can go through it step by step. Okay? All right, go for it.